Hey minions, welcome to Crank It Up. I'm Jim Price, and on this episode of Action Awareness, I want to talk about Cash Out of the Dwarves. Cash Out is a standard action that lets you play up to 3 treasure cards from your hand as extra cards. The wording is a bit odd. The extra cards make sense because treasures can be minions, not just actions. But curiously, the card mentions from your hand, as if you had other options. Admittedly, the dwarves can often draw treasure cards in the discard pile. They can even play a card from the discard pile using salvage, but salvage explicitly states that. The truth is, from your hand could be removed entirely, and I think it causes more confusion than anything. This is like a time loop on steroids, but for treasures. And while this single card lets you play 3 unique cards, which is pretty unprecedented, it is entirely limited to treasures, which makes this a very hard card to synergize. You need treasures to cash out, and only dwarves and thieves have direct access to them. Warriors can get decent indirect access, but otherwise you are relying on munchkin bases to provide them, which can be underwhelming. Still, this is the key dwarf action for me and has won several games as long as you have an opportunity to use it, which isn't a guarantee. There are 22 total treasures, and Cash Out can let you play 3 of them. Normally, that would be 1,540 combinations of plays. But 2 of them are Phase 3 specials, which cannot be played by Cash Out. Potion of Halitosis should be kept as a Phase 3 special, even though it can be used in Phase 2. It also doesn't make sense as part of a Cash Out play, which is designed to drop a lot of power. If it were simply about playing cards, then there are other candidates to consider. But generally speaking, Cash Out is supposed to be a big terminal play, and Bag of Caltrops, Dungeon Rulebook, and Wand of Dowsing don't make much sense. No, the ideal treasure candidates add power, so you have the 3 minions and the 6 actions that add power. I do think Boots of Running Really Fast makes sense, as you can move an entirely different minion to the closing base, or kick someone off in Phase 2. My point is that about 9 or 10 cards make sense in this context, and with that number, the number of scenarios that fully utilize Cash Out drops significantly, unless you think outside the box. The standard play involves the Loot Lover, who gets +2 power for every treasure that is played on him. In fact, most treasures are play on minion actions, which qualify. Not all provide power, but enough do. It just comes down to having the right treasures, which the dwarves can help with, as they can pull from the discard pile and put several cards in there for a personal stash. Chest of Holding combos really well with the Loot Lover, and when followed by Chainsaw of Bloody Dismemberment and Boots of Butt Kicking, you add 12 power and even get an extra action. Even Potion of Idiotic Bravery is useful to play as the 3rd action, even though it doesn't scale as much as the others. Knee Pads of Allure can also be the right finisher depending on the minion spread. This allows Loot Lover to go quickly and form a surprise attack on a base. Sometimes it helps to use Mine to search for a specific play on minion action that can go to the discard pile to be grabbed later, or to prime Chest of Holding and use 3 other play on minion actions for your Cash Out. Turning the Loot Lover into a juiced up flying monkey can also send this play into overdrive. But if this were the only Cash Out play, it would be pretty boring. Fortunately, it is not, and we can utilize the immediate rule here. Contrary to what some may think, these plays are not immediate, nor do they refer to specific cards. Treasures are a grouping of cards, but that doesn't make it a specific card. It is no different from banking a minion of power 2 or less. You never actually reveal specific cards, unlike Rude Awakening or Teleport Overflow. This means that the extra play is indeed bankable, and this can be really powerful with Cash Out because you only need one specific treasure, Crossbow. Giving multiple minions +2 power per turn can be really powerful, just ask the Mythic Horses. Crossbow limits the output to 1 base and 1 faction, but if you position yourself well, that may be all you need. Cash Out can play the first Crossbow and bank the other 2. Then Gold Digger can grab Crossbow from the discard pile and play it again as the first of 2 banked treasure plays. And if you have a second Gold Digger, of which there are 3 copies, you can do it again. So with only 2 minions of your partner faction, one of which you can play this turn, Crossbow can generate 4 power 3 times while only needing 1 specific treasure. If you are short on a Gold Digger, Potion of Redundancy Potion can make up the difference. When viewed in this context, Cash Out can be even more powerful because there are some factions that really make use of this. I mentioned on Monday how Odysseus loves Cash Out because if you play all actions, Odysseus himself generates 4 counters. But if you have 3 Gold Diggers and a favor of Hermes, it's possible to play Crossbow 4 times, choosing a different base each time for a multi-base surprise attack. The only limitation here is that you need all your Gold Diggers out at once, and the Mythic Greeks do not really help with card draw. But the All-Stars do, and they have the means to do some really crazy plays with this approach. The key here is that the Gold Diggers are not on the same base as the base you're attacking, as you want to play the same combo over multiple times. You have the initial Cash Out play, which can be preceded by a non-infinite loop to put Cash Out back into your hand. You can play the normal Cash Out play on a subsequent turn. Then you can use It's Astounding to play Cash Out a third time, possibly utilizing 3 Cash Outs in 4 turns. With a card like Ghostly Arrival, it's entirely possible to set up the first instance of this play in a single turn, because that gives you the 2 minions you need. Should you lose a Gold Digger, the key to this play, Begin the Summoning can get it back, and the All-Stars are well positioned to manipulate your deck to ensure that you see Gold Diggers. All you need to do is draw a Crossbow, which the Dwarven actions can help with, and you still have that Loot Lover backup plan, conveniently retrieved by Gelf. For the powerful standard actions that Cash Out can play, the Disco Dancers can copy them easily. Crossbow and Potion of Idiotic Bravery can create a large shared power swing unexpectedly. While there are other actions that can generate more power, Cash Out is one of the few means that allows both of these types of cards to be played in the same turn, and played up to 3 times. This is useful in a multi-base approach, since the Divas can only copy the action once anyway. One other interesting aspect of Cash Out is that you can quickly create your own body shot play, because the treasures have the right spread of abilities to make this happen. You need a minion who can grow quickly, which is the Loot Lover, as your regular minion play. You need him to be indestructible, which Buckler or Swashing can do. You need as much power as you can get, which Chest of Holding can provide. You also need a terminal action, which comes from Boots of Butt Kicking. In a single turn, you can play a Loot Lover and these 3 treasures for a 14 power indestructible minion, then double that with Body Shop, and even spread the excess power to other minions, which Body Shop can do, as 28 power is enough to break most bases. So you can get a base uncontested and have power to spare, which is really awesome. While there are Cash Out synergies, they still put treasures front and center. Otherwise, you need to consider the effect of playing so many treasures at once. Odysseus was already mentioned, but the Musketeers can reap the benefits as well. D'Artagnan can give you 3 cards for playing 3 actions, which is great, especially if you can use the Musketeers to generate an additional action. Aramis also has that potential, and Athos can greatly increase the potency of the actions increasing your other minions. Fittingly, the Musketeer style of singularly powerful minions lines up well with the singularly powerful Loot Lover, which hopefully culminates in a Potion of Halitosis play that takes out 2 bases in 1 turn. As you can see, I like Cash Out. I used it a lot, but I keep mentioning the same treasures over and over again, and that list is less than half. This means that there is a very real possibility that the ideal Cash Out scenario never manifests. At worst, this could be an action that acts like a summon to play a treasure-specific minion, but that is really limiting. Even 2 treasures doesn't always seem worth it. I want all 3, and there have been times where Cash Out merely sat in my hand waiting for an opportunity. This is a great example of an action that is truly boom or bust, and with the right pairing, the former should happen more often than the latter. Out of all the dwarf actions, this one, to me, provides the most opportunities for synergy. What do you think of Cash Out? Let me know in the comments. That's it for this week. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Let's shut it down.